We're going to keep the condensed version. So ultimately, Chad and I have both been online since 2013 is when we both got started. I started my business actually in a hospital bed and knew that I needed a transformation in my own life. We actually created an agency at first, helping really just everyone. And through the process of working with everyone, I don't suggest it, by the way, is we needed to narrow down. We went to an event and we heard this quote by Steve Farber, and it was, "Do what you love in the service of people who love what you do." We want more of that. Like, we want to give our gifts to the people that are out here to make a difference with other people. Like, what do we need to do on that? And we just transformed our whole business. We shut our agency down and we just focused solely on the people who are here to really make a difference with other people and give our gifts to them.
Hello and welcome to User Spotlights. I'm Laura with ClickFunnels, and today I'm joined by Holly and Chad Ogstadt. Holly and Chad are a dynamic duo of transformational coaching. Together, they inspire impact-driven coaches to step into their highest divine self-expression and support them in creating their coaching businesses that align with their true selves. Super cool. Can't wait to talk about this. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. We are excited.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Yeah. So you guys are doing some really cool stuff. Can you tell us how you got started in this business?
Go ahead.
That's you.
We're going to keep the condensed version. So ultimately, Chad and I have both been online since 2013 is when we both got started. I started my business actually in a hospital bed and knew that I needed a transformation in my own life. So I've been with ClickFunnels since ClickFunnels began, from the very beginning. So I knew that I needed to find leverage in my life. I needed to find something that was going to help my family. And in the process, I found transformation. I found personal growth. I found how to leverage. I found funnels. I found all of these things. I found my husband and my best friend in the process of all of it. And so we joined forces around 6 years ago. No, 7 years ago now, and we actually created an agency at first, helping really just everyone. And through the process of working with everyone, I don't suggest it, by the way, is we needed to narrow down, and things were really out of alignment in our life between health battles that we may get into here in a little bit and some challenges that happened. We went to an event and we heard this quote by Steve Farber, and it was, "Do what you love in the service of people who love what you do." And it was that moment, we had two of our clients there. One client was she was very about herself, very self-promoting, it was just a different energy. She's a great person. And then another client was a neuroperformance coach, and she was so about transformation in other people. And Chad and I both were like, we want more of that. We want to give our gifts to the people that are out here to make a difference with other people. What do we need to do on that? And we just transformed our whole business. We shut our agency down and we just focused solely on the people who are here to really make a difference with other people and give our gifts to them. Do you have anything to add?
No, that's great. Right after that, we went to ClickFunnels. Actually, it was 2 months later. We went to 2018. Tony Robbins was speaking, and this is the thing. Holly said that she started her business in a hospital bed. Well, she was also in a wheelchair for off and on for 3 years, and was able to get herself out of it. But then all the stress of trying to run a business and work on the health and all this stuff, and then walking 7,000 miles at these events and stuff, ended up back in a wheelchair at the event. So we're watching Tony Robbins from a wheelchair, saying one, we're not going to be she's not going to be in a wheelchair anymore. And two, we're going to have our 2 Comma Club, right? So next year, this is the year we're doing it, the whole thing. And literally we left that event and we're on fire. We're all right, let's go. And we started getting these amazing clients. And we had a health coach. He did 138K in 6 weeks and had all this amazing momentum. And then I remember going out for my birthday with some friends, and Holly stayed at home because she was still going through some health stuff, right? She was having some seizures periodically. And we were working through how holistically how to work through the seizures and everything. And I come home and she was had been seizing for a while. I'd never seen her like this. She was still seizing as I'm coming through the door. So I have no idea. It could be 30, 40 minutes of a seizure. If you know anything about that, it's way long. And I'm dumping CBD down her throat. I'm dumping electrolytes in her mouth. I'm giving her mouth to mouth to pull her out of it. And eventually she came out of it, and it's like what she said, like, it's like my stomach just dropped. She's like, where am I? And who are you? Like, she didn't know who I was. She didn't know who she was. She didn't know she had kids. She didn't know anything. And this time, like, we like just came back to like live with my mom to like get her health in check. Like, right. Like, so we left ClickFunnels and we're like, all right, we're going back and living with my mom to like work on the business, get the health under control. And then this happens. And we're like, holy shit, like, what do we do now? And so I remember, you know, we're like, what do we do? We all the things. Business is like, all right, we're gonna show up, but like, she doesn't know who our clients are. I'm like working on dealing with this. And I remember she posted on her Facebook, like, hey, I just had this situation. My husband says that I make a huge impact with people. I have no idea about any of this because I lost. And then she did a video around like losing your memory and all this stuff. And she's like, so if I've made an impact with you, could you comment something below? And so she had like hundreds of people like telling her how amazing she was and all this stuff. And like,
I'm like, oh, I don't know why I get so teary about this. It's been like, but it really was a
emotional
life. I knew at that moment that like whatever that was, I needed to get back to that. And so some people thought I was crazy, but that's what I love about the ClickFunnels community, because we are not normal people.
No.
So I went to it and I'm like, I need to learn what we do. I need to learn our business again. I need to get back into this. And so and the reason why we're sharing this, like I went full in, like I started going through everything in our computer. I started going through, these were our clients. This is what we did with them. This was the process that they went through. This is like everything. And at this moment, it was like, because I didn't have the stories, like everything that we go through, we tell ourselves a story in the background. And those are the stories that limit us or propel us. And I had like nothing, right? So I literally was going through every single person that we ever worked with, what worked really well for them, what did not work really well for them, and like what was the difference between the two. And so if you can imagine like conspiracy theorist meme over here, where I'm like connecting the lines of the what so, and it was that time where we created our entire model. And it's really been, you know, we've been able to take hundreds of coaches through this model now, and they've had incredible results because of it. So it's like every pain that we have can turn into a purpose, and we can use this for our good. Did you have something?
Yeah, I have a really funny story. So Holly, there was like the week after she had resetted like her memory 3 times. So it wasn't like have like reset and then like let's rebuild. It was like every 2 weeks for like about a 6-week period. Wow. And after the second one, she was like, what was I doing after I, you know, like this, before I had this situation? And I'm like, well, we were creating a webinar to do on Thursday. And she's like, oh, well, you know, maybe I can help. And I'm like, sure. And so she's like going through the slides, and it was funny. So like Dan Henry was, we bought his course at one point. We were in one of his coaching programs, and he gave us this award that, you know, like $10,000 in a month award. And I remember when we were like doing we did the webinar, she's like, looks at the things, and she's like, yeah, and we got these coasters. Like it was the funniest thing. So like they were, yeah. And so that was really funny, but I think we ended up getting a client from that, so it's just kind of really weird. But
here we are, right?
Yeah, what a background story. And I mean, I think some of the most impressive and successful and impactful entrepreneurs have gotten there from overcoming some like really, you know, crazy obstacles, which is what you've been through. So like, what has that been like from like the before and after, and like trying to, you know, regain your memory? Like, is it all back? Do you feel like there's still challenges?
It has been a wild ride. As I started, so I worked with functional neurologists. And so we would do different brain patterns and different clearing things to heal my brain. And as my brain was healing, I did get memories back. So much memories that it was like every memory I got back, which launched my whole trauma healing sequence of events from that. Okay, so things that I probably repressed before that I had no idea, I got to choose. You know, I love this guy. He set up a whole like protocol for me. We called it champion training, where every morning I had to get up and like these were these affirmations and this is who I was. And I got to decide as I was getting my memories back, like I called it the incinerator, like this is going to go in the incinerator. It's not serving me. It's not going to serve me moving forward. And we went through all sorts, which I believe also is why we're so passionate about transformation, is through this journey of my own inner healing. And like I got to heal every trauma as it came up. And so we got really educated on transformation and trauma healing and what healing the nervous system. It's why I do all of the alignment work. I believe it's very important as you're doing this, not to fit yourself into a cookie cutter of what everybody else says it needs to be, but to find yourself and create in a way that's going to be in alignment to who you are, so that you don't have this burnout. And that as you're going through this resistance, because resistance is going to come up as you're building your business, it's just a part of it, right? You're stretching yourself beyond anything you've ever done. Please believe there's going to be trauma and resistance that comes up from it. So I think it's been powerful that now we have the tools to handle that resistance, not just within ourselves, but now for our clients as well. Do I still have problems with it? If I don't take care of myself in a certain way, the things that you're like, if I start eating like crap, if I'm not doing my meditations, if I'm not taking time for myself, if I'm not taking walks, if I'm not honoring my body, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to kind of go back to like the structure and like how much structure we had to put in place, in the sense of like we created her whole first half of her day, right? Like this is what, wake up and do this, this, and this. There was a night where she was just staring at the wall crying. And I'm like, what's the matter? And she's like, I don't know what to do. She's like, I have my beginning of my day, what I'm supposed to do. But like in the evenings, like she had no idea what to do with herself.
Yeah.
And so it was really, really intense.
And I'm very grateful. So here we are. I'm at a standing desk. So
amazing. Well,
yeah, not in a wheelchair.
Not in a wheelchair. I have not. We actually went to the last.
I imagine what you've been through too led to other challenges. Like you mentioned, like it brought up all of your memories. Like as humans, we suppress certain memories for a reason, to like protect ourselves. So you're dealing with a lot of information coming up all at once while trying to manage all of that, deal with your health, and also have a business and serve clients. Like that's a lot of stuff to deal with.
Yeah, I work through hypnotherapy. I've worked with a lot of coaches. I have the most incredible support team to this day. I believe that every coach and every entrepreneur needs a coach and someone that's supporting them. I've gone through a lot of trauma healing in order to be able to go. But I think when you have a calling in the world, and like that's what I love about ClickFunnels in this community, is the people just have a fire because they know that they're here for something greater, right? And when you know that and you feel it with everything in your entire being, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but you can overcome more than what's ever possible, right? Even like here we are, now we have a baby in our story, and juggling, well, not juggling, but incorporating the family and handling all of the challenges as they come. And I think it's just so vital to have the tools and the resources to be able to get through this stuff so that you truly can be unstoppable.
Sure.
Yeah. So fast forward, so in last year we went to and got our ClickFunnels, our 2 Camel Club award, and it was amazing, right? Like just that experience. Like it took us 2004 years instead of 1 year, but we did it, right? And it was funny.
Huge accomplishment too, even in 4 years. Like it's a big deal.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. And I remember, so it was funny, because Brooke Castillo spoke, and she's amazing, right? And we met her in the elevator, and she's like, what do you guys do? And we're like, well, we help coaches, create client attraction processes, package their program, and get themselves out of their own way. And she's like, oh, that's amazing. And I added, in a way that's like super low tech, and like simple, right? Because that was the biggest thing, is like we were teaching all the funnel stuff. Like when we first started working with like coaches and like in coaching, we were like, okay, we're learning. We were into the 2 Camel Club coaching, and the big thing was creating an offer. That's what they really needed, because it's almost like they needed to do this simple and just really kind of less complicated process first, how do I attract clients with like low tech? How do I create the offer? Low tech. How do I create the, and then we can start, as soon as they can feel confident, they can get to $10,000 to $20,000 a month. Then we can start throwing in funnels. Then we can start throwing in a little bit of
Yeah,
ads.
don't overwhelm them from the get-go. Yeah.
And that's what Brooke said. She's like, this is what my clients need, right? This is what my students need. Like, if I bring them to funnel hacking, their brains explode. And because it's like, it's just so much information. It's amazing for a coach. Like, their mind is, how do I help the person in front of me? Not how do I become a conglomerate.
Yeah.
Right. And so how do we help them just consistently help the person in front of them? And then we can go to group, and then just create some more leverage, create a program. And then like we started working with a lot of coaches that are like, I have so many one-on-one clients and this is amazing, but how do I start transitioning to something more leverage? And that's been amazing. And we've helped a lot there. So
Super cool. So speaking of your clients, do you have like, who is your like target client? Like, are they in different industries? Like, who are your services best for?
Yeah, so it's coaches that are called to make a deep impact on the world. Now, that could look like a leadership coach, that could look like a transformational coach, that could look like a life coach, that could look like a health coach. We have a lot of health coach clients. That could look like
mindset coach, performance coach, you know, really the coaches that are more in the transformation and the impact place.
Yeah, and they need to know, and this is one of the things we learned from the ClickFunnels world is like, even though it's about transformation, it needs to be a tangible result. And how do you take the transformation and being able to, you know, we work with a lot of spiritual coaches, like the enlightenment and the
awakening and all of that stuff that sounds beautiful.
But how do we turn that into something
where people are like, I need that.
I need that.
Yeah.
It's like people don't pay for, I mean, they do pay. If they have extra money laying around, they will pay for the, you know, the vitamin, but the painkiller, that's what people really spend money on.
Yep.
And how do we do that?
Yeah, and it's true. And it's so important, but it's probably a little bit harder in this space to get people to understand why they need something like that. But I'm sure the impact of, you know, the before and after of, wow, I had somebody guide me through how to better serve my people, is truly remarkable. And I think it's so important that people understand that mindset is such a big part of that too. And sometimes it's like, you just need to know that somebody should be guiding you through and holding your hand and helping you through this process, because it's only going to help you serve and do what you were made to do so much better.
Yeah, it's a huge missing, because most programs don't deal with any mindset. And if they do, it's very surface level. You know, we've trained on like so many, like Holly is trained in like 7 or 8 modalities, right? Like, and we've come up with our own things, and it's to deal with, because it's not like, mindset is really a broad term that like covers a lot of things. So there's like the energetics of things, and like clearing out energy that is not serving you. There is the emotional blocks that are, and stories that, like limiting stories that are stopping you. And then there's like stuck traumas and stuff in the body.
Your body keeps score, man. Although we have a cellular memory, and it's not.
I did read that, and it was very eye-opening.
Yes. So being able, so our process really creates this multi-dimensional, if you will, of, you know, working with the subconscious and the somatic, and, you know, your alignment, the spiritual, the energy, and creating your business. Because there's no, you know, we want to put these containers of like, our life is here and our business is here. However, if something is going on in your life, it affects your business. Like it just does, if we want it to or not. Right. And then the business side, like they are very so entwined. So it's like, create this in a way that's going to work for you. Right. We have a 4-year-old. Yeah. She's like right here. Here she is.
I think what's really fascinating is so much of the mindset stuff. And like people, I know firsthand, people can say like, oh, that's so like woo woo, whatever. Like, I don't need that in my life. Even for the people who are highly tactical and are like, this is how I run my business, I'm not going to worry about like the mindset stuff. The mindset stuff actually comes first. Like it impacts everybody. And so many people who run technical or very tactical businesses they got over that hump of like mindset and knowing that they could do it and saying yes to themselves and taking action. Like it really does apply to everybody.
It does. I've actually seen, I want to hear what you have to say too, but I've seen a lot of like high level tactical people like just strategy, tactic, that lasts for a few years, and then their life crumbles, and then they're looking for the meaning and the purpose in their life, and they're miserable. Like, you can have all the money, but then there's no freedom and purpose in there. And then I've literally have one in my mind now that has had to go on this quest for purpose in their life, because all they did was pay attention to strategy and tactic and drive, and not the mindset of, why not create this in a way where you are feeling fulfilled every day, when you're excited to get up, when you have purpose and meaning in your life, when your business is fun. Like, that's what can happen, and that's what's possible.
Yeah, I think it's like anytime, like even the tactical strategy people, they might not recognize it, but what has caused their quantum leaps in their life and their business is the mindset or energy or like whatever. There was some sort of limiting story going on in their head that are stopping them from implementing whatever thing or whatever. And then it's like they get around people and they're doing it even though they're having they had similar things, and
they're not labeling it as mindset.
They don't realize that's what it is. They're like, oh yeah, it was just the being around people or whatever. But it's really that there's so many people that are doing the thing that you have the limiting thing that's stopping you, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess I will, like, that belief starts dissipating. And so,
such a good point. Yeah. So speaking of tactics, now I want to shift gears a little bit and just talk about funnel building, because you guys have been in this world for a while now. You've attended Funnel Hacking Live. You use the software for your business. What would you say has been like the best strategy or the best type of funnel to use for what you guys are doing?
Virtual events.
Yeah, virtual events. And specifically, we call it like the funnel that like doesn't matter, or the thing doesn't matter. Essentially, the gist of it is that it's you're running people to an event, and 25% of them might show up, right? And if you give them the opportunity to book a call and become a client even before, because there is a, maybe it was 10%, maybe it's 5% of the people that register that are ready now to work with you. Right. And so giving them that opportunity to jump on a call and kind of see if it's a good fit before the event even starts. The event hasn't even, we're having an event on like the 11th the 11th. And it's like, we haven't even really started promoting it yet, but just the energy of just starting to get it there. It's like, we already have gotten 2 clients. So it's like, it's that flow of allowing, not like you have to show up to this event to get the information to then become a client. Let's have an opportunity for them to be a client even before the event, because the best clients are busy. Sometimes they're not going to show up.
Yeah. But I love the event. I love the dramatic demonstration. Like, I think they're fun. It's like, okay, we have this event here. Like, what is the dramatic demonstration? So we have the 50K by Christmas that we did, which was our last event. And, we go all out. Like, our dog has reindeer ears. He's got a little harness that like we can, like, he loves to run. He's an Australian Shepherd. So we had like this, our running dog, like with this little Santa and his reindeer next to the bike. And we make it a full immersion experience where, we have a community, people are winning points, they're really engaging and interactive in this entire process. And ultimately it's like, we sign clients before the event even happens, and it brings fun. Like, it's an opportunity. Like, I absolutely love, ever since I heard the dramatic demonstration, I'm like, oh, we're so on that one, because that's what brings the fun into the business. And the fun is an energy. When you can make your business fun equals sustainable. So you can keep doing it over and over and over and over, and like keep switching it up. It's a place where you can have your creativity flow, because it's more than just like, the funnel is the tool, right? And I can build funnels in my sleep. Like, I love the process of doing it, but it's the dramatic demonstration and the energy that you bring into the event that makes business fun for us. Anyway.
Cool. And I love that you're applying like the frameworks of linchpin into your own business, because I feel like everybody in different types of industries find certain things that they cling to where they're like, that's perfect for me. That applies to me. And you talking about dramatic demonstration and being able to get excited about that and apply that framework to your business, I'm sure it just works tenfold. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a beautiful foundational story of what brought you into business. And I'm sure people will probably ask you this all the time, but what would you say is like your biggest piece of advice for fellow entrepreneurs who are considering starting a business online?
get really clear on the people that you want to serve. And even if you're not clear on who they are, get really clear on what you want to do for them. Like, because that's the one thing is that some people come in and they're not super clear on their ideal client, but they're doing a bunch of things for a bunch of people. So let's get really clear on the specific result that you get for people. And then as you're working with those people, start narrowing in on who the people that you actually enjoy with. We have a framework called the perfect triangle. It's who are the people that you can make the biggest impact with, who are the people that you actually love to work with, and then who actually has the money to pay you, not what you're worth, because you're worth actually much, much more.
Can't pay on that.
but what you want to charge.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm sure it's really impactful for you guys too, because you went through that process yourselves. I know that, Holly, you were saying when you were trying to figure out what clients to serve, you had somebody and then you had another person and they were very different. They were both great, but you were like, that's it. Like that kind of honed in on exactly who you want to serve and what you were passionate about. So I imagine that once people find that when talking to different people and different clients, it's easy to say like, this is the sweet spot right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if I could kind of add my own too, is the resilience piece of this is like, if you have a heart and you have a vision to have a business online and to really do this, like give it your absolute all. And there's going to be things that happen, and regulate your nervous system, like learning breath work and learning how to regulate your nervous system so you can handle the stress of the going up and the down and, you know, who you serve. And maybe you have one funnel, you're like, you're on one funnel away, but it was not this one. And then the stress of all that, and then you make it mean something. And like, so having the nervous system regulation and the resiliency tools to move forward can be highly impactful as you move forward as well.
Amazing. Where can people go to learn more about what you guys are doing?
So I would say the 50K by Christmas, even if I don't know when this is going to be playing, it may be after Christmas, but it's really how you can get 50K into your coaching business within 90 days. So that would be the best place to go at this point.
Yeah. And they can follow us on Facebook is probably our best place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look us both up.
And what's the URL for the program?
So it is Quantum Impact Coaching /50K by Christmas.
Awesome. We'll include that in the description as well, so people can check that out.
Awesome.
Anything else that you guys wanted to share?
No.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
I really appreciate you guys being a part of this. Thank you so much. It was a beautiful conversation. I love learning more about your story. I hope people can check out what you guys are doing, how you're impacting other people and making a big difference in this world. So thank you for being part of this community, and we hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.